Hey people, it's Steel Gamer here, and I'll be talking about World of Warcraft Classic, the reality of Blizzard's automated report system. Now, I want to be clear about a couple of things. I'm not just going to be talking about the automated report system. There's tons of videos about that. I'm actually going into in depth some things that people I wound up talking to who fell victim to this, including myself, wound up actually talking to the general managers inside a live chat at Blizzard. And I'll be going through just how fucked up this entire system is. And you won't believe the shit that went down. It is absolutely ludicrous. I'll also be explaining certain bits of conversation that I had, and due to the nature of what's involved, um, because of what happened, I will not allow anybody to see any of the private chats I had with the live GMs, because if I did that, Blizzard would attack the channel and get my channel shut down due to the conversations I had with some of the basic GMs, the game masters, and then some of the tickets that I had talked to for these people actually escalated my specific incident or the specific incidences to higher level tech people inside Blizzard. So this wasn't something that just happened. This was something that's been ongoing for a while, and my point to this whole thing is to show just how ridiculous this whole system is. It's completely out of control. And if you're wondering just like all the incidents that happened, like I said, I can make these videos now because it's come to light due to other people exposing what the hell is actually going on. So I'm going to wait for some people to get in here that I know are going to be in here or wanting to see the stream, and then I will be getting into it. So for the time being, just hang tight, and then I'll start my broadcast. But this is something that you're not going to want to miss, or something that you're going to find extremely interesting. So if you know anybody who's been abused by the system, or just in general wants to um, explain how the system operates, show them this video, and you'll be absolutely flabbergasted at the shit that goes on. And I'll also be talking about some comparisons with the direct denial of service, or the distribution denial of service DDoS attack that Blizzard had. They caught the person, whatever it is, but I actually talked to a few people and I found out why the person did the DDoS attack, as well as the irony and the hilarity between the douchebags that complained about the DDoS attacks and what they're doing in the game. It's just, this whole thing is a big fucking mess. And so, as I said, I'll just give people some time to get in here, and then I will, I'll be back. I'm going to go make myself some coffee, and I will return in a minute. Okay, so let me begin. And to those viewers that are here, welcome. And so let me begin by explaining when this system first came out. It was introduced in one of the patches in Legion. And the system is abbreviated RCR. Stands for Right Click Report. What that basically means is you right click somebody's name in the game and report. And it'll come up with options to what you want to report them for. Spam, trolling, language, threats, whatever. Now, the system is automated. Always has been. It's not reviewed by anybody because it's a shoot first and ask questions later system. Now, when the system first came out, people said this was a bad idea because of it's open to abuse. People, even though Blizzard said the system, a person will only be silenced after review was false, and a lot of people knew that. Again, that's come out now. Before any of these videos come out, people need to understand that when people, this is like anything on the internet. When somebody gets targeted by people on a website, they get screwed over. Before any of this shit came out, the first thing that people say is, what did you do? You must have done something. People were getting victimized and being victimized on top of that. Now, I don't want to say victimized and making the people feel bad, but the bottom line is people are malicious. That's how online is, and you really can't do anything about it. So how do you fix this? Trying to get back at them by creating multiple accounts just won't do anything. So you log in, oh, you're ban dodging. So even though you were banned, you weren't even banned legitimately in the first place, you get told having a secondary account is dodging the ban. Well, under that context, that doesn't make any sense because you were never banned the first time because what they banned you for wasn't a valid reason. Now, that comes into what is or is not a valid reason. Well, the people who run the site can make up anything that they fucking want. So, yes, they're going to be malicious. They're going to be douchebags about it. But the fact remains, no matter how you look at this, if they wrongfully banned you, then you are not banned. Period. This is like trying to fucking argue with assholes about VAC bans on Steam. They try to argue that, VAC takes a while to catch up, totally ignoring the fact that if VAC kicks in or catches up to you in a game you have not cheated in, you have been wrongfully and falsely VAC banned. It doesn't matter what you did last week. People say, the system's just catching up to you now. That doesn't fucking matter. If you cheated in Counter-Strike, I'm not saying you cheated. I'm not saying you don't get rid of somebody for cheating. But if you cheated in Counter-Strike, and then the system takes 2 weeks to a month to catch up to you, and you're sitting there fucking playing something else other than Counter-Strike, and then all of a sudden the VAC ban kicks in from Counter-Strike in a game you're not even fucking cheating in, you have been falsely VAC banned. You can spin that any way you want, and people can fucking argue that point all they want, but the fact remains is, VAC is kicking in at a time you're not cheating in a game you didn't cheat in. You are falsely VAC banned for that context. Now, that doesn't change the fact that somebody cheated, but that has no relevance to this. We're talking about when the VAC kicked in. Trying to say, the system catches up to you isn't a valid counter-argument to this. It kicked in a game where you weren't cheating at a time you were in a game you weren't cheating in at a time you weren't cheating. Period. You're falsely VAC banned. So, people saying that there's no such thing as a false VAC ban are fucking idiots. Now, that brings me to the point on some of the shit that goes on with this. Now, there are a couple of ways to report somebody, and what I mean by report somebody is in order to report somebody, you have to have access to the person's name that's in the zone. Whether it's the account name, the character name, whatever. You still have to have access to that in the zone or the area of the game you're in. Now, there are two ways to do this. One, you run around in the zone and you find them. But there's a way to pull up a list of everybody's name in the entire server. And that is to press enter on chat and type /who. When you do that, it'll bring up coordinates for the zone you're in and list everybody in the zone. So if you're in Elwyn Forest and you type in who, it'll bring up everybody in Elwyn Forest. However, if you remove the coordinates from there, so because there's a little section on the bottom that shows where the coordinates are. It'll say Z Elwyn Forest and then some coordinates to where you are, but since you're in Elwyn Forest, that's what the game's looking at. So, by removing at the very bottom, because you can manually type these coordinates in to find anybody anywhere, you can manually remove the coordinates that are in there and then click refresh and it will pull up everybody's name in the entire realm. It's not like all X amount of people. Now, Horde can't see Alliance and Alliance can't see Horde. So there's a ton of people in there which you're never going to see the other side, unless you're logged in as the other side. Now, once you pull up the entire list of names in the realm, you don't even need to be in the same zone as them. You can right-click on their name, whisper them, get them to say something back. Now their name is in the chat. Or you can just right-click them directly and report them directly from there. So, without even being in the same zone, somebody can fuck somebody over just by that. Now, the right-click report system, nobody seems to know exactly how many reports it takes, but we do know it's somewhere between 1 and 39. That's been proven in a video. The number is so low, it's astronomically asinine. Now, what the problem with this system is that it was originally intended to be used to cut out spammers for gold, guild invites, things like that. But the problem is, people online are fucking retards. In World of Warcraft Classic, since all of the people from, pretty much most of the people from retail went into Classic, that left a lot of the trolls in retail by themselves with nobody to fuck with. So they decided to enter Classic. Now, there are several things inside Classic that allow people to communicate. One is general chat. Another is party chat. Another is you can directly whisper to somebody. And then there is guild chat. Blizzard is backed up by tickets that stem from general chat. Because there's so many things going on in general chat that general chat in itself is a walking code of conduct violation. There is nothing legitimate in the chat at all. Nothing. Nobody is using the chat for legitimate purposes. Case in point, LFG stands for looking for group. Blizzard has very specific channels that are supposed to be used for these specific things. So if you want to find a group, then what you do is you type /join space LFG, and that puts you into the looking for group channel. The reason why this is like this is so anybody that is not in looking for group will never see anybody talking in looking for group, because you can actually type /leave whatever the group channel is, and it'll remove you personally from being able to see anything in that chat. So if you type normally in this situation when chat works like this, channel 1 is general chat or /join general. Chat 2 is trade chat, and chat 3 is defense channels or something like that. And then there's another chat which is looking for group, things like that. So if I don't want to see anybody talking in trade, I type in the chat, I press enter and type /leave space 2. That kicks me out of the channel. So I don't see anything in channel 2. So people could be talking in channel 2, I'll never see them. You can do the same with any channels. /leave 1 leaves general. So you don't even see what anybody's talking about. /leave 3, /leave 4, so forth down the line. But to join these channels, you then have to actually type the word back in. You can't type /join and then the number. So you actually have to type /join and then the specified channel. So if I type /leave 1, I left general. If I want to join general again, I have to type /join space and then type the word general and press enter for me to get back into it. I don't understand why that works the way it is. Now, Retail people are so fucking toxic. They have destroyed the game socially and control the entire general population chat for everything that is fucking said. Blizzard knows this is going on. They know this is going on. It is absolutely fucking retarded. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to go get my coffee and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got my coffee here. And so, let me continue. Now, those are the ways to leave chat so you can't see what's going on. Then, there is something called ignore, where you can right-click on the player's name and click ignore, and then you'll never have to see what that player says. So you can do it with individual. The problem with the ignore feature is that it limits the list to only 50 people. Unless you ignore the person's entire account by using the Battle.net name in there, they can just create 10 other characters and you can see what they're saying, because you can't block them unless you block the account. The problem is you can't block everybody in the game because that's the way it is. So this is the background on, all of the stuff in this game. Now, here is why this is a huge fucking problem. If I don't like you, or somebody doesn't like you, or you disagree with somebody, you lose a role. Somebody gets to a mining node before you. I don't like the color robe you're wearing. Or even if you're just not even using chat, placing somebody on ignore. Oh, I can't get at you, so I'll just start spamming general chat for people to ignore you. All it takes is for me or whoever doesn't like somebody to get 1 to 39 people involved to right-click to report somebody, and what happens is the system automatically logs them out, places their account on silence, and then allows them to log back in. Now, there's a lot of false, I don't want to say false information, but a lot of the videos have incorrect information in them about what silence allows or does not allow. I've personally been targeted by silence, and I know for a fact that the list that Blizzard has that's allowed does not work in the game. So, for example, when you are silenced, you cannot whisper to anybody, even as a reply. You can't whisper to your friends. Nothing. If you try to use chat in any way, for any reason, outside of party chat, it'll tell you your chat privileges are suspended pending Game Master review. You cannot send out invites. You cannot send out you can't send invites to join groups. You cannot tell somebody, I want to join your group, because if you try to click invite them, it automatically declines your invite. It'll say so-and-so has declined your invite. They can invite you and you can join, and that way you can talk in party chat, but you can't even tell them you can't talk and that you want to join their group. All of the stuff I said before, losing roles, I don't like your name, the color shoes you wear, placing me on ignore, not even using chat. People have actually used right-click report to get the person silenced. Yes, even because somebody placed somebody on ignore. I have placed somebody on ignore and they reported me because I ignored them. Because I wouldn't, let them do it. It is absolutely fucking retarded that this is allowed to go on. Absolutely ridiculous. So, I want to bring up the DDoS thing. Now, everybody that watches my channel or is familiar with my channel full well knows I never condone behavior like this, and I say don't do it. There are other ways to deal with it. But, on the same side, having been on the receiving end of this, I'm glad it happened because the pricks got what they fucking deserved. And that is the DDoS attack that happened to Blizzard. Come to find out, the DDoS attack wasn't just something random. It wasn't just a couple of douchebags doing this. Regardless of what anybody tries to say, the reason for the DDoS attack is because people got sick of being victimized by the system. Sure, one person orchestrated it, so they're liable. And again, don't go doing this. It's illegal. I don't condone the behavior. However, being fucked over by the system and then knowing that they did the DDoS attack for that, I'm glad that fucking Blizzard had it happen because the douchebags got what they deserved. Period. That's just the way I feel about it. So, let me further continue. When your account is silenced in the game, you can't post on the forum either. Something that they didn't bother telling you, but you can't even post on the forum. If you try to go in there, it'll say, oh, your account is silenced in game. You can't post on the forum. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, the amount of restrictions that are done in this. Now, here is the biggest problem with this. It's one thing if you can't talk for 24 hours. Or whatever the original time frame is. It's a completely different story when people know that the penalty for not being able to use any of these features double. So first it's an hour. Then it's 2 hours. Then it's 4 hours. Then it's 8. Then it's 16. Then it's 32. And before you know it, you're silenced for a fucking year. All because I didn't like you. Now, Blizzard doesn't really give a rat's ass about this. This has been ongoing since 2016, despite there being multiple reports about it. And I've always said this too. It's not fucking relevant if Blizzard is doing this. What is relevant is nobody is doing anything to actually drag Blizzard through the fucking mud and get them into court for doing this. If you don't drag them into court, it doesn't fucking matter, because companies do shit illegal every day. That's not fucking relevant, and you can bitch about it all you want, unless you're willing to do something about it, or at least attempt to do something about it. Even if it doesn't go anywhere in court, the fact that you got them in court is enough. It's like what I went through with ZeniMax Online Media. They don't want me as a customer anymore simply because I actually threatened to take I don't want to say threatened, but they actually pulled this shit with me after like 2 months of dealing with the horse shit and then being told, fuck you. So they were harassing me on top of harassing me. That I said, fine, I'll just fucking take you to court. And when I actually did, I don't think they realized what the fuck was going to do. So because I put my foot down, they didn't want me as a customer because they don't want to deal with somebody that's going to push back. Once I push back, they realized that keeping me as a customer is not beneficial to them. because I would have been being a pain in the ass to them. But being a pain in the ass to them was due to their behavior. Now, I'm not justifying what I did because what I did was fucked up, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit and be steamrolled like that. So the difference between me and a bunch of other people is I actually did something about it, and I dealt with the consequences of that actions. I don't mind that because at least I got my point across. To me, that was all I needed. This wasn't about the money. This wasn't about a counter shoot against them. This was about me getting them into court and them knowing, since I got them into court, they can go fuck themselves. So, I'll give you a little story about that, which ties in with World of Warcraft Classic. When I was dealing with ZeniMax Online Media, I was dealing with them not only through email and in the game, as well as the game masters that were in the game, through the ticket system and shit. But I was also talking to them over the fucking phone. I specifically said for this one person I was dealing with that I will talk to anybody else except for him. What happens? He fucking calls me. So, what the point to that was, and why I made that parallel, is because I told him, you're just as bad as the fucking instigators in the game. You instigate, they instigate, they instigate, they instigate, they instigate, and then when you say something about it, you're the bad guy because you said something about it. It's okay for that. Nobody gives a shit about what's going on when it happens, but they only care as soon as you say something back. Then you're the fucking bad guy. And like the people in the game instigating me, they did the exact same thing. They had a pattern of fucking with people and harassing them. He was specifically told, I don't want to talk to him. Do not call me. And what does he do? He fucking calls me. So it's like he knew by calling me, I was going to say something to him. He was instigating a fucking problem in the same way they allowed people to instigate problems in the game. They have a pattern of doing this. So when people say, well, you got to prove a pattern, that's a pattern right there. You can't even deny that. Because he knew he wasn't supposed to call me. I told him not to. What does he do? He calls me anyway. It was just fucking ridiculous. Now, the reason why I brought that up is because the same type of shit is going on inside WoW. Blizzard has a supposed code of conduct that they don't want to apply or selectively apply, which they don't have to. I want to be clear about something about the code of conduct. The code of conduct means jack shit. Blizzard can turn it into whatever they want at any given point in time, however they see fucking fit. There is a distinction here, though, between what the laws dictate and what the terms of service and code of conduct dictate. Blizzard, as I've said this many a time before, Blizzard can have in the code of conduct all that they want. Well, we can determine. They can't determine what online harassment is, what cyber stalking, and what cyberbullying is. That's already defined. They cannot even say, well, we think this is cyberbullying because the U.S. Supreme Court and the Department of Justice have that defined on their website. Now, the problem is proving that. So you have to pull patterns out here, just like I did with ZeniMax. Now, whether or not that goes anywhere in court it's anybody's guess, because this could go either way. The fact that I pulled a pattern out can throw enough doubt into something to prove this. So these things are the issue about whether or not the terms of service or code of conduct actually apply, or can they hide behind it to try and use as a defense. That's the issue here. There are certain things that a game company is not immune to, despite what it says inside the terms of service and the code of conduct, and despite whatever you clicked on the subscriber agreement. There are laws that they cannot use the terms of service to hide behind. It just doesn't work that way. Now, the question is proving it. That's why you have to build your case and then bring it. But the problem is, if you don't bring it there, if you don't bring it to court, it doesn't fucking matter. Companies do shit illegal every day. People are like, oh, if it was illegal, they wouldn't be doing it. That is complete horse shit. People do speed every fucking day. It's illegal. Nothing happens and they don't get caught. It's no different. So this horseshit mentality that people have of, well, if they did it, it wouldn't be allowed, is bullshit. They are doing it, and it's being allowed because nobody does anything about it. Now, the thing here is you have to convince a lawyer to actually take this. But they're not the ones who can prosecute this. The U.S. District Attorney has to prosecute this particular issue because it crosses federal lines. The FCC regulations apply to online games because FCC is just electronic communication that passes state lines. That's when it becomes a federal issue. Since Blizzard is based in the United States, it falls under federal guidelines of the United States, which is exactly what the issue here is. They have felonies being committed there. I don't want to say felonies, but they have federal crimes being committed in their games simply because what's going on is crossing state lines. It's now a federal crime under that definition. So you have to compile all this information together and then get it in front of somebody who can actually deal with it. So the only people that can prosecute this is the district attorney. But you can't just submit something to the district attorney. The FBI has to. So I was on the phone with them trying to, saying, hey, here's some information. So you have to actually submit this in such a fashion where it actually catches somebody's attention for them to actually warrant going through this. If they're not, they're going to say, get the fuck out of here. But that doesn't mean there is not a problem. Now, the other issue here that I find amusing and fucked up at the same time is how people say, well, it's only a small percent. That's like saying, well, how many times has that kid been hit? Well, it's only once. That doesn't fucking matter. One is one too many. A small fraction of these people is too many. It doesn't matter because it's fucking ridiculous. So, let me bring a point back about the direct denial of service, the DDoS attack. Here is what I find hilarious. Okay, and yes, I do find a part of this very funny, and let me explain. When the DDoS attack was going on, Blizzard, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm focusing on the asshole players who were pissing and moaning that they couldn't play the game. The game was being interfered with. They had the game interfered with. The reason I find this funny is because these are the same motherfuckers who use right-click report and abuse it to disrupt somebody's game so they can't fucking play it properly. How ironic is that? That is fucked up and hilarious at the same time because the motherfuckers that are abusing assholes just to, are fucking with their way of being able to play the game have had it done to them and they don't like it. That is why I said these motherfuckers got exactly what they deserved. It's, again, don't do it, and I don't condone that because a fucking DDoS attack is fucking childish. But again, having been on the receiving end of this, I find that fucking hilarious that these pricks got exactly what they deserved, and it serves Blizzard right for fucking with people. I'm not saying they could fucking just justify. I am saying that Blizzard got what it deserved because this is what they're doing to people and allowing to be done. So let me continue on here by going over some of the shit that was talked about in a live chat with some of these GMs. This is where shit starts getting unbelievable to show you how deep-rooted this fucked up, this shit is. This is so fucked up, it's retarded. Okay, first let me explain that I had a few other people that I was talking to. I'm not going to say how many, or if it was a lot or a little. I'm just going to say a few. Who we were all talking and decided to see just how fucked up the report system gets from Blizzard when you're actually talking to a live GM inside the ticket system. Because you can have live chat, you can have a callback, you can have a web ticket. We decided to use live chat. You're about to be fucking horrified with the shit that was done in this. So first, let me explain that anybody who has a silence, it will, due to somebody saying something in chat, it'll never be overturned. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If they try to tell you they had it overturned, they're full of shit. Let me explain why. Keeping in mind, there was a bunch of us who tested this. Now, even though the outcome may be different, that isn't the fucking point. The point that none of us could get the silences overturned. And let me explain some of the situations here to show you how fucked up this is. Okay, so somebody was spamming looking for group in general. Blizzard has a channel for that. So, upon being told to please use the looking for group channel instead of spamming general chat and disrupting it, can you please use the looking for group channel? And in case you weren't aware, here is how to get into it. We made the, we explained how to do it. For the next 20 fucking minutes, the person was verbally attacked in chat, told to fuck off, sworn at, threatened, and then silenced. When we went to live chat, when I say we, I'm talking about us in general because we did the same type of experiment. When all of us went to live chat, we didn't go all at once. When I'm saying all of us, I mean when we did this, we went into live chat. So we all went to live chat at some point. So I'm saying I just want to clarify that. So when we had this happen, we decided to go to live chat. This was the result of the conversation. Keeping in mind, there was no swears, there was no vulgarity, there was no code of conduct violations there. Everything was polite. We didn't even engage in conversation with anybody else about, well, why are you being rude? We didn't even say that. We just needed to reply at all. The GM comes in into the chat. We explain the situation. The silence has been unwarranted. Can you please remove it? They refused to remove the silence and upheld it. They threw the code of conduct at us, saying, well, you violated code of conduct. However, we know that was bullshit because we have it on video. We have it on pictures. We have it on video. Now, the reason I'm not going to show this again, to reiterate, is because I'm not going to have Blizzard attack my channel by showing stuff that they're going to copyright claim and say it's a violation of whatever the fuck it is that they're talking about. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to show any of the chats that I had or we had or any emails that were given to us. Nothing. We're not even going to view that on the channel. You just have to take my word on that. But when a GM was asked, since you're bringing out code of conduct, what was violated? What is the actual code of conduct violation since you're throwing it out there? You want to uphold the silence and then throw the code of conduct as a rule through why, then show us. They disconnected the chat. They didn't even answer us. They disconnected the chat. So, we logged back in, we opened up the ticket because it was never resolved, and we were met with threats from the upper management saying, if this is not going to be overturned, which has already been reviewed, any further contact in this can result in we're warning you now, do not use the ticket system for this because it could result in closing your account. Now let me explain what led up to that. When we were hung up on, now this didn't happen once, this happened twice. When we were hung up on by live chat GMs, we submitted the tickets again. We were threatened by the general manager or whoever had the tier, because our tickets got escalated, with, we're not going to overturn this silence. You've already been told this. This is done. If you continue contacting us about this, it can result in closure of your account. I fucking kid you not. So, I wrote back anyway. I got a hold of somebody in the upper management, and I says, I'm not here to debate the ticket. This is just me personally now. I'll tell you what happened to somebody else I was involved with this with. I actually talked to a GM. I have several things I talk about, and a couple other people that I talked to had some interesting things to input. And then they came up with something interesting I didn't look at, and then that brings me to a follow-on question. So let me first back up and explain. I actually asked a GM. I said, I'm not here to debate or overturn the silence. I'm not here to do that. I had to say that several times before they finally get the fucking message. Because every time I started saying something, he says, "We're not going to overturn this." He says, I'm not telling you to overturn. I'm not even talking about that. So what I said was, I'm here to ask you a couple of questions. I said, you guys know that the system is abused. Yep. Okay. Now, keeping in mind, I got to back up and explain what led up to this conversation. Inside the game's chat. Now, keeping in mind, we were already silenced for telling people to please use the proper channels, and we didn't even reply to them. That's all we said. So they upheld that silence. Fine, fuck it. So now we got a little bit creative. And for the viewers that are watching, when I say we didn't do all of this at the same time. This is just a couple of people that we got together with that all did the same thing. So when I say we, this is what we did. I'm referring to the entire group of people that did this. Now, some people say, well, you're causing problems. And that's the type of shit that is a problem inside the game. So let me continue here. So what wound up happening is I told people, having had the previous silence, I had told people I could just get 100 people all with 60, 15 accounts to right-click report you and silence you. It's an automated system, so we could just get you silenced. Because they were blabbing around in chat, rallying other people to ignore people. I had to look it up. Announcing in chat you are placing somebody on ignore is harassment. I had to look it up. It's actually a code of conduct violation. Announcing to everybody else in the zone to put you on ignore or put a targeted individual on ignore is a code of conduct violation, because now you're rallying everybody else to do something against the player. Also, clear-cut code of conduct violation. So, having had the previous, silence, knowing how it worked, knowing what was happening, knowing that Blizzard upheld it anyway, we decided to get a little harsh. Now, people are saying, well, you're getting harsh. Keeping in mind why we got harsh. You can't remove why we got harsh from the equation and just say, well, no wonder he did it, you're getting harsh. If people are just going to fucking argue that point, then we're not going to talk to you. I'm just not even going to say anything. Those are the types of fucking shit that this is the shit that goes on in the game. Nobody wants to pay attention to anything, and this is what's going on. So, I had said, well, I'll just have your account silenced by using the automated system. I said, go ahead, laugh it up. I says, I'll fucking do it. Because the system's automated, nobody's immune to it. Doesn't matter whether Blizzard overturns it. The fact that I got you silenced is the issue. Well, apparently people reported that, which is a threat. So now I'm in the chat with the GM. This is where things get fucked up beyond comprehension. Keeping in mind, I only talked about this. So I asked the GM that I was talking to, I says, I'm not here to debate the silence. I'm not asking you to overturn it. He goes, good, because it won't be overturned. Snotty little fuck. So I says, all right, I'm not here to debate overturning the silence. I said, do what you want. I can't stop you. I had to say that to him fucking several times before he got the message. It's like he was instigating fucking problems. That may be me reading into it, but if somebody tells you you're not here to overturn you're not here to debate or try to get the silence overturned, what part of that do you not fucking understand, especially when it's said to you 2 times? You don't need to get somebody to say it 4 more fucking times during a conversation. It's ridiculous. So, letting that go, okay, whatever. But here's what I asked the GM. And I was asking this to try to get a specific answer from him, so I had a rebuttal for it. So this is what I asked him, and I'll explain that in a minute. So here's what I asked him. Would Blizzard be okay, for sake of conversation, I said, I'm just here to ask you a question. Would Blizzard be okay if I got 15 people, all with 20 accounts, to log in and basically go from every realm into every zone and just right-clicking reporting every single fucking person in the entire realm on every single zone so nobody can use chat. Would Blizzard be okay with that? I was trying to get him to say no, because if he had said no, I said, then why is it okay to do it to one person? But that's not the case. This was the reply. Blizzard has no problems doing that. Yeah, Blizzard does not have a problem with that happening. Are you fucking kidding me? I then asked them this. Please, explain this logic to me. It is not okay to talk about doing it, but it's perfectly okay to actually do it? I'm silenced for talking about it, and here you are in the chat telling me it's actually okay to do what I was talking about in the chat. I am not fucking kidding. He actually said, Blizzard said it was okay to do that. Or they wouldn't have a problem with it. They say it's okay to do that because that's what the system allows. So as long as it's done under that context, everybody, do it. Get everybody, and I'm telling you to, Blizzard, because here's the thing. When somebody tells somebody to email somebody, or somebody says they're going to post people's information online that they didn't give them, that's a pain in the ass, and you can get in trouble for that. However, I have in a conversation, in text chat, would Blizzard, and it was a hypothetical, would Blizzard have a problem with this happening? They said no. I said, but Blizzard has a problem with fucking people talking about doing it? Are you kidding me? That makes no fucking sense. How retarded is this? So, I am telling people, get everybody together and go into every zone in every realm and use the report system to silence every fucking person in the entire realm. I'm telling people to do that because Blizzard says they don't have a problem with it, and I have it in chat that they said this is okay. So this is not like me saying, hey, email somebody, here's their email. I am actually saying what Blizzard said to do is okay because they don't have a problem with it actually being fucking done. It is absolutely fucking ludicrous that this is even happening. Say to viewers, how's it going? I'm just explaining the back details, not just about the system, but the shit that's being said in GM chats with live support customer representatives, plus what's being escalated to these douchebags in the tech support, because me and a bunch of people actually went even further to dig out how fucked up this is. Our accounts are banned now, mind you, but I'll get into that afterwards. We don't give a shit that our accounts are banned. We knew this was going to fucking happen. I'm just here to explain what people are not talking about with this. Everybody knows this system is fucked and everybody knows it's abused. But what's mind-blowing and absolutely flabbergasted, that'll flabbergast you, is the shit being said in live chats with these fucking GMs. It is unfucking believable. So to bring you up to speed of what I was just talking about, I had a GM in a live fucking chat that I was talking to about a silence because I simply talked about getting enough people to silence people inside. I said, because people will be in douchebags in the chat. Blizzard allows these fucks to come in from retail and destroy the chat by harassing and berating everybody, and they're never removed from the game. But as soon as you fucking say something to them, they will mass right-click report you to get you silenced so you can't use the fucking chat, right? And then, when you go to open a ticket, despite there being proof inside the text chat that they can go back and look at, they will uphold the silence despite no code of conduct being broken, and then give some bullshit excuse. So keeping in mind, I'm talking to the GM about what I said in chat. I was silenced because that is a threat, according to them, which is fine. And I told that fucking GM, I'm not here to debate the fucking silence. Uphold it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to do that. I had to tell him that 6 fucking times because he was like trying to instigate a problem because he didn't listen the first fucking time. If somebody tells you they're not here to debate a chat or an overturned silence, don't keep fucking asking them if they're going to overturn the... I'm not here. We're not going to overturn the silence. I know you're not going to overturn it. I never said to do it. The guy was just fucking stupid. So here is what I found fucking interesting. I asked Blizzard. Now, keeping in mind why I'm talking to this GM in the first place was to find this question out. I was trying to get him to say Blizzard would have a problem with this, so I could turn around and then say, well, if Blizzard has a problem with this, why are they allowing it? But they don't have a problem doing it to one person. It's the same concept. And what I asked the GM is this: would Blizzard have a problem if I got 20 people with 16 accounts all to go into the entire zone, into the realm, go from zone to zone to zone, right-clicking, reporting every single fucking person in the entire realm so they get silenced? He said no. I says, are you fucking kidding me? So let me get this straight. I'm silenced for talking about doing it, and that's not okay because I'm silenced, and you're going to uphold it because it's considered a threat. Talking about it. But there's no ramifications for actually doing it? I'm not fucking kidding. This is the shit that goes on in these chats with the fucking GMs. Now, the reason why I'm not posting the conversations with them is because due to the incidences that are involved, if I posted this, Blizzard would attack my channel because they already know who I am and they've banned my accounts. They banned my accounts because I will not stop messaging them due to specific circumstances. Now, is that me being childish? Of course, but I'm not. But let me bring you up to speed. I'm not justifying what I'm doing. I'm just explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. Another test that we did, and just so people know, when I say we, I'm not going to say how many people were involved, but there was a bunch of us. And I'm saying a bunch so there's no direct number. I said a few, bunch, doesn't matter. It's not point. There were multiple people involved in this, and we all were going into in-depth knowing our accounts are going to get fucked. Now, we didn't do this to provoke Blizzard. We wanted to find out just how fucking bad this system is, not just inside the game, but just the extent of how fucking bad the GMs go. It's absolutely fucking astronomical. I've had my tickets escalated in live chat to other representatives in Blizzard for tech support and people that were in charge of everything. Because the person I was talking to didn't know how to handle this. Now, I opened up the code of conduct in one test. I opened up the code of conduct. I very, very, very carefully was extremely careful to not violate anything in the code of conduct. I was reading it as I was doing this. I did not even use the word clown or troll addressing anybody. It was just a simple conversation inside chat. And when I said, can you please do this? And then I'm not going to respond to you because you're just looking for an argument, so please, I'm not going to bother responding to you anymore. I got silenced for that. This is the conversation I had with the GM. I put in the ticket, and I says, please remove the silence. They can actually go back and look at the reports, which in turn allows them to look at the entire chat. I specifically said to them, or the GM I was talking to, please remove the silence. Anybody can tell by looking at the chat, there was no code of conduct violations. There's no vulgarity. There was no swearing. I says I didn't even use the word clown or troll. I said something once, and then I said I'm not going to reply to you anymore. And yet, I'm silenced anyway. Please remove the silence. It's not warranted. Oh, yeah, I had the code of conduct. I says, I very, very, very I said this to the GM. This was in the text chat. I says, I very carefully followed the code of conduct to make sure there was no code of conduct violations at all whatsoever. I says, I was very careful about everything I did. They still upheld the fucking silence. He goes, oh, I can see this. You're being argumentative. I says, you don't have access to the entire chat then. It was then escalated to, I'm not going to say his name, but it was escalated to somebody else. And I says, you are not going to tell me that this is going to be upheld and give me some bullshit reason. He goes, well, this has already been done. I says, there's no code of conduct violation. You're telling me there's a code of conduct violation. I want to know what you're referring to. What is I'm not asking for your opinion. Since you're throwing rules at me, tell me what was violated. He disconnected the fucking chat. That happened twice. The third time, I got fucking rude and started swearing. You should see the fucking message from him. That motherfucker. He actually outlined a few things to me. Prior to them hanging up, I says, if you're not going to remove this, I will spam tickets over and over again to waste your resources because you want to uphold shit that you have no business upholding. I says, I'm going to continue submitting tickets until you guys deal with this. That prick wrote back and had the fucking balls to actually tell me, I've read through the chat several hours. I can see you being argumentative, using all sorts of shit that never even fucking happened. Keeping in mind this is on video. So that was line number one. Number two, you've been rude and unprofessional to staff. Keeping in mind, the first conversation I had was me. I'm not here to debate it. I'm just asking a question. Like I said, I'd show the chat, but I'm not going to have Blizzard fucking do this. So, like I said, you have to take my word on it. I was hung up on twice. And I told that. I says, don't you get self-righteous with me. Your staff fucking hung up on me twice, so fuck off. I basically told him, I didn't swear at him, but none of all these replies I says, don't you even get self-righteous with me about this, because if you read through, first of all, if you read through that many chats, you will see I was being harassed for 2 hours. So don't even come at me with, I'm argumentative, when I didn't even say anything until I started replying. All my stuff is replies to what people say. Now, I didn't have to reply to anything, but that's fine. But here's the fucking problem with this. He's being a douchebag on top of being a douchebag, making up shit that doesn't exist. Now, they can do this, don't get me wrong, but this was just to show you how fucked up these chats are, even with escalated tickets. These silences are not overturned. And like I said, I'd show the fucking chat and what actually happened, but I'll get the channel targeted by Blizzard due to the fact that of what I'm involved in right now with them. So, he goes, oh, you're threatening people. I said, but you're allowing people to do it because that's why we're here. You allowed them to target me, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. It's fucked up. I said, you can't even answer me the questions, and I'm asking this, and then I got hung up on, and now you're telling me I'm unprofessional? I says, don't get you self-righteous with me, you prick. Then he goes, well, further, now he threatens to close my account on the third thing. He goes, third, you submitting tickets and this and that, it's wasting resources and that and that. We already deal with this. We're not going to overturn this. I wrote as a reply to that, I says, I don't give a fuck how many things you do. I says, Blizzard, I have multiple emails, and you can see this on pretty much anything. Blizzard themselves say, I says, you got a lot of fucking balls. Blizzard themselves say, if you have a problem, submit a ticket. Even on your tickets, it says, if this problem is still unresolved, you may submit another ticket. When you do, you're threatened with account closure. I said, who the fuck are you? I didn't say that, but I basically said that in so many words. Keeping in mind, this is just a reply to him on the email. No further things will be, done. And it was absolutely ludicrous. So, this was tested, not just with me, but a couple other people. Now, here is what I find fucked up on all ends with this particular situation. Blizzard's ticket system is used for when you have a problem. When you submit the tickets that prove there is a problem, they threaten you with account closure because you're abusing the ticket system. It is fucking unreal. I had that same type of shit try to be done with me when I went to ZeniMax Online Media. when I took them to court. So the issue here is what I told them, because this last thing was really fucked up. What I want to get at first is that on a closure of some of these accounts, one of the people in the group I was talking to, I fucking can't believe they did this, but I got the idea to take it a step further by having the ticket escalated, so I did. And so they told me, they go, my account's going to get closed anyway. I kept messaging them. I said, you did not. He was told not to fucking message them, so he kept fucking doing it. He goes, my ticket's not resolved. My ticket's not resolved. And I said, did you even talk to them or you just messaged them? He goes, no, they fucking closed the ticket. I fucking opened a new one. I did it until they fucking got rid of my account. I says, are you serious? He goes, yeah. They're not even reading shit and they're making up lies, which they can do, which is fine. It's their game. But when they start allowing this system to be punished, it's fucked up. So I thought that was just fucking hilarious because I said, oh man, I got to try that. But let me back up and explain how fucked up this situation is, because here is the thing that tops the fucking list of the ultra stupidity fucking level of the dumbass GMs and the shit system that's in place with this. Okay, on one of my accounts, I was in the game and somebody was using LFG, which is looking for group in general. All I put in the chat was, hey, can you please stop disrupting general chat with looking for group? There is a looking for group channel, and unfortunately Blizzard didn't say it, but here's how you join it. I didn't say a fucking word after that. I got berated, bombarded, and all this horse shit. Okay. I left it alone. And I said into chat, I'm contacting live chat so they can come in and look at this right now as it's happening. So I did. I contacted live chat and I told them to go in and look at the past 10 fucking minutes. Just go look at the past 10 minutes and explain to me how this is not a code of conduct violation so you can also see exactly what was going on. I says, because this is a problem. I says, I wasn't even contacting support to say there's a problem. I'm contacting support to show them this is where these problems start and to get ahead of it and deal with it before it comes up. I said, because what's going to happen is they're going to right-click report me for doing this, and I'm going to get silenced, and then I'm going to ticket you guys because this is going to happen. Now, people could say, well, you're calling them to say you're going to get silenced. That's not the issue. The issue here is that this was originally done to have them go in and look at the problem as it was happening, right currently. So there can be no question of any types of reports on anybody would automatically get overturned because an actual GM saw what was going on at the time it happened. That motherfucker refused, and not even 10 minutes later, my account was silenced. This is what the straw that broke the fucking camel's back and what got my fucking account suspended, my account banned. I messaged them. And I said, I am not going to stop messaging you. I says, I am going to flood your fucking queue with so many fucking tickets, you're going to wish you never fucking heard of me. I then proceeded to go into legal issues with them about what they're allowing to go on. I says, you can ban this account. I will create another one and keep fucking hounding you about this silence. And I said, it is not going to fucking end until you get a court order or you remove the silence and reinstate one of my accounts. I says, I am going to bother the fuck out of you with the ticket system. Ban the account, I'll create another one. Blocking the IP address won't work. I'm not going to say how I did that. But here is what the issue is. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how many precautions you take, Blizzard will never allow an appeal on a silence, no matter what you fucking do. People can say whatever it is that they want. On a silence for chat-related issues, they will never uphold it. I have given several examples, and like I said, I post this shit to prove it, but I'm not going to get my channel targeted with this by, posting private Blizzard chats. But the fact remains is that, by the way, if this does go to court, I will be posting the fucking shit because I'll create a completely separate channel and I'll post all of these fucking chats that I have with all these people inside the chat so you guys can see exactly what the fuck is going on. It's unbelievable. And so again, I want to be clear that I don't give a shit if my account's gone. The community is so fucking toxic because Blizzard allows it to be toxic. And I'll explain a solution that I had said to Blizzard because people are like, how do you deal with this? What's the solution? But I'll tell you the ironic thing and what the solution is because it's fucking unbelievable. The shit that comes out of both the players' mouths and Blizzard employees' mouths. It's fucking ridiculous. No matter how polite you are, doesn't work. Rude, you're going to get fucking screwed. So, I mean, if you're going to get screwed, you might as well be fucking rude and get screwed for something rather than try to be polite and get fucked over anyway. So it's unfucking believable. Unbelievable. So what I then proceeded to create 19 accounts. I logged in with them and I flooded their ticket system. And I'm going to keep doing it. I have given Blizzard a choice. They can either apologize, reinstate a specific account, remove the silence, or they can go get a court order to stop me. And I says, if you go get a court order, go right ahead. I'm not afraid to go to court with this. I've battled fucking companies and, not in court, but I'm not afraid to go to court with this. Said they're going to have to get a fucking court order to stop me from doing this, or they're going to have to deal with it. I said, every account that they ban, or they try to block the IP, I'm just going to keep messaging them. I'm going to keep fucking doing it. I told them point blank, I am not going to stop messaging you and sending in tickets. I said, I'm going to flood your queue with so many fucking tickets. You're either going to do something about it or court order to stop me, period. Now, here is the thing. I was threatened. I was unfairly banned. They upheld the silence, and no matter how polite I was, they still fucked me over. And I says, you don't get to have this both ways. And so, what I'm telling people to do, because Blizzard said it's okay, so they could try to say, well, you're telling people to do this. I'm telling people to do this because you guys said it was perfectly fine to do it. I have it in a fucking chat. So they can say, well, I have fucking emails, and there's all over Blizzard's website. If you have a problem with a ticket, if you have a problem, submit a ticket. Even if you have a problem with the ticket, resubmit it. They will say you're abusing the ticket system if you resubmit it, despite Blizzard telling you. It's a fucking no-win situation on that end, but Blizzard themselves have fucked themselves by saying you're allowed to do it. But when you do, you're threatened with account closure. Now you're being threatened. It's fucking ridiculous. So, what I tell people to do is, get people together. Start right-click reporting. Abuse the fucking system. Just do it. Everybody else is doing it. And here is the solution I had said to Blizzard. I says, and I had one of the GMs tell me they fucking hate dealing with all this shit. I says, okay, remove general chat. What you're trying to do is police something and control something you can't police and control. And what winds up happening is it's all coming from general chat. Yes, general chat is there and it's people's behavior, but that doesn't exempt the fact that Blizzard knows by putting this in the chat and allowing the system in there that people are going to do this. They are fully aware that this was going to happen. It's been happening since 2016. And the reason it's not being dealt with is because Blizzard has not been taken to court with this issue. I am literally forcing them to take legal action against me under this condition so it gets into fucking court and gets dealt with. The difference between this and why I find this fucking hilarious and the DDoS attack is because the douchebags, when the DDoS attack was going on, the douchebags that were abusing the RCR to fuck with somebody else couldn't play their game. And oh, my game's disrupted. Yet they're disrupting other people's fucking games like that. And since what I find interesting is what somebody with the people I was talking to pointed out. And I even asked them, I said, that doesn't make any sense until they explained it. And what they said was, this game should not be $15. I said, why? Because chat is partly what you're paying for. And I said, well, what do you mean? They go, when the $15 that you pay for a month goes into keeping the server running and everything else, part of that is cleaning chat. Part of what you're paying for goes to chat. When people use the right-click report system, it stops you from using that part of what you're paying for. So basically, players are being allowed to tell other players they can't use what they're paying for. It's fucking theft. In that regard, it is theft. And if you can't use what you're paying for due to the other players doing that, then the subscription fee should only be $8 a month because you're not being able to use anything you're paying for. Well, at least that part of it. It doesn't matter whether you can log into the game or not. That doesn't fucking matter whether you can store all these quests or whatever. The issue here is socially silencing somebody is detrimental to the system because that's the baseline of the game. Now, here is the thing that I find the overall most fucked up thing in existence about this whole mess. And that is, people have no problems with people abusing the system, harassing people in chat, and basically doing whatever the fuck that they want, and nobody says anything about that. As soon as a post on the forum is made, or an announcement in the game is made, or somebody makes a video, or whatever it is, or even I've even had the GMs tell me this. When a complaint is made about the report system, the person making the complaint is told, why don't you just leave chat or ignore people? Are you fucking kidding me? I says, that's not even a valid comment to say, because why should I, or why should anybody, have to leave the chat or place somebody on ignore that is not following fucking rules? It's amazing. And what the problem with this is that comment is never said to the assholes making these reports. So if somebody's right-click reporting, you don't see the GMs telling them, well, you can just place people on ignore or leave the chat. No, they're not even told that. But yet they'll cause a problem and then tell whoever complains about the problem, well, you can just leave chat, you don't need to be here. This is exactly like the douchebags in GTA 5 when they were cheating online, telling anybody complaining that they were cheating to leave the fucking server. So cheaters cheating, causing a problem. When somebody said, well, stop cheating or your complaints about it, the cheaters told them fucking leave the server if you don't like it. It's unfucking real. Which brings me to the whole point of... Sorry, my nose is itchy. Which brings me to the whole point on if ignore or leave chat are the options in the game, that negates the ability for report to be a need in the game. It doesn't need to be in the game. I actually said this on the forum, and of course the forum buried the topic because can't have anything logical. Let me see if I can pull the let me see if I can pull up the chat. Sorry, the forum link that I had. All right, let me see here. Yeah, I found it. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna link this in here. Okay, so here is the actual link. I'm going to put this link inside the description below so you can read what it actually says. I'm not going to pull it up on the forum right now. But I'm not going to pull it up in the stream right now. But I am going to say this isn't the first topic I've created about this and put on the forum. There's a few others, but the issue here, this is again talking about this, and I had mentioned inside all of the stuff that we had talked about, the $8 fee and stuff like that. So this is a combination of a bunch of people's information that I just compiled into one thing. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. So let me continue here by pointing out that sorry, I lost my train of thought, but the issue with the report system is what I told the GM was, you can't police and control this. It's impossible. And removal of general chat altogether accomplishes what Blizzard is trying to do, minus all the bullshit. The reason people are abusing general chat is because they're being allowed to use general chat. Removal of general chat will remove a good portion of the problems because nobody will be able to read, I'm placing you on ignore, and they still talking. You know, go fuck yourself. Politics, like everything. There is all sorts of stuff in this game, in this chat, that is complete code of conduct. The whole chat is a code of conduct violation. It's a walking code of conduct violation. Talks ranging from excessive rape to kid fondling all the way up to politics and terrorist talks and everything else. Slurs, racial character names and guild names, just everything under the fucking sun that is complete code of conduct violations. And Blizzard does not remove general chat. The point here is that general chat is not being used for its intended purpose, and people don't deserve to have it. But when I posted that question on the forum, when I presented that on the forum, of course, naturally, everybody, no, some of them are fucking trolls, but some of them, if you read some of the replies, they're outrageous. And the only reason people want to defend keeping general chat is because they want to have the way to fuck with people and then abuse a system that they want to abuse because they want to be able to target people. Removal of the system threatens their trolling. So instead of, obviously everybody knows it's a problem, but when you bring it up, leave chat or ignore. People should be following rules because nobody should have to leave chat or ignore under those contexts. People want to fucking right-click report people. Why can't they be told to fucking place people on ignore or tell them to leave the fucking chat? The people complaining about what people are doing in the chat and then baiting people into arguments and then doing it is the fucking problem. Removal of general chat will never happen. But that won't stop the problem because the people are still in there. What it will do is prevent a lot of further problems from happening because a childish thing to say out loud in a chat is to say, I am placing you on ignore. Or telling everybody in the zone or whatever it is to place an individual on ignore. That is a major code of conduct violation because it's completely against the fucking rules. So, if Blizzard doesn't want to find that offensive despite it breaking the rules, then there's a fucking problem. That alone proves that just that alone. Now, when people, how do I want to put this? When people say, or what people like to say is, well, it's only a small portion of the group of people. That doesn't fucking matter. As I said before, would they tell you hitting a child is okay? How many times before hitting a child is okay? One time is too many. It doesn't matter whether it's 1 or 20. Don't fucking do it. One time is too many. That same concept applies here. It's amazing how people will say, oh, it's only a small group of people. That doesn't even fucking matter. One time is too much. The fact that it's abusable is the issue. It doesn't matter whether it's a small portion of people doing it. And I was talking to a friend of mine tonight, which I agree with him on some stuff, but I disagree with him on some. We have disagreements. But the fact is, it's funny to watch people talk about Well, you got to make a voice in order to change something. But when it comes to something like this, oh, grow up. It's not a problem. This is a small fraction of the people. What? The only way, this is a fucking problem. It doesn't matter whether it's happening to 10 people out of 10,000 or 100,000 people out of 1 million. It's happening and it's a fucking problem, and it doesn't belong in the game because it doesn't belong in the game because there's too many reports of it being abused. There are so many reports of this being abused. Now, I want to be clear that, yeah, putting up videos of something in one place, it makes the entire system look bad. That does not apply here because this system is bad. The fact that somebody was even able to do it once is enough. If the system has now been abused, it's simple. Here is why right-click report does not belong in this game. Because of the fact you can ignore somebody or place or remove yourself from chat. That alone nullifies the reason for chat reports to be in the game. And I'm not saying remove the report system. I'm saying remove the report system from general chat-related issues. Somebody calling somebody a nigger is not a code of conduct violation. It's not. People are going to say name-calling. Well, you can't say that's a code of conduct violation while saying telling people to place an individual on ignore is not a code of conduct violation. It's fucking disruptive, and it's making a person's gameplay unpleasant. Which, again, I find hilarious because of the DDoS attacks that these assholes that are using the system to abuse other people to interrupt their gameplay couldn't play their game, and their complaint was, I can't play my game. It's fucking ridiculous. And I just find it fucking hilarious. Don't go DDoSing somebody, because that's illegal, and I don't condone that behavior, but I'm glad it fucking happened because it serves Blizzard right. And that's kind of what I said to a GM. He goes, these tickets piss us off. And I said, with all due respect, I don't feel bad for you. It's your fucking job. Deal with it. You guys want to allow a system in place that creates these tickets, then you deserve exactly what you get. I don't feel bad for you. You guys have... It clearly doesn't bother you that much because you're not fucking complaining about it. So again, this is my point. It seems like there's not a lot of people doing this, but that doesn't fucking matter. If it happened to one person, it's one time too many. The system's abusable. This is the fucking same shit that's going on in YouTube. And I want to point out that people aren't just getting punished from silencing because of chat issues. There's shit going on with the auction house that's fucking unreal. There's boss raiding, layering abuse that's a fucking problem too. I mean, there's all sorts of shit that's going on in this game. And like I said, it shows you the priorities that Blizzard has when it's not okay to talk about something, but it's perfectly okay to do what you're talking about that got silenced. It's fucking unreal. It is unbelievable. But as I said, if I'm going to post the secondary link in the description of this video, just like the first link is in the chat here. For the viewers that missed it, I'll just repost it again. That's a topic I put on the forum that will literally, it's not just the topic, just read what's in there. It's a combination of stuff that, I had been with this group of a couple of people because it happened a week ago, but I posted that. This is after we did this. It's unbelievable. The shit is ridiculous. Take a look at the topic and then just take a look at the replies. It completely verifies the topic. And it's like everything in that about what I said in the topic is going on in the chats is a fact. You can find videos of this shit online. It's really like you can see people what's going on in the chat. Plus, if you don't believe me, make a World of Warcraft starter account and just sit in chat and watch what happens. Just sit in chat for like the first 25 minutes. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, World of Warcraft is supposed to be social. And Blizzard does everything to make it unsocial. People are afraid to use chat. Now, if people are in a guild, they don't need to use chat because they have each other. That's fine. That's one thing. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the general use of chat that There are people from retail who sit in the chat in every zone specifically saying shit because they know saying something enough is going to catch the attention of somebody just so somebody can say something to them so they can then go to an argument and then right-click report them. Blizzard is well aware that people are doing this. They know who some of them are because they've been caught doing it, and yet they're still in the game, and Blizzard will not do anything about this. And this is why I said at the beginning of this video, normally if somebody tells somebody to email somebody without cause, posting their email and saying email them, that's a fine line, but you can actually get in trouble for that legally. But I have from GM saying it's perfectly okay to do this. Plus, I have emails. Plus, it's on the ticket system. Blizzard says if you have a problem, open a ticket. Even if your ticket is not resolved, to open up another ticket if you want to talk about it. You have Blizzard system telling you this. Plus, a GM said it is perfectly okay with Blizzard to get 20 people or whatever it is and go into every realm and keep silencing every single person in the entire realm in every zone so nobody can use chat. So I'm going to tell people, if you want to fuck with the system, Blizzard says it's perfectly okay to use the system to shut everybody up. So I'm telling everybody in this video, and if Blizzard wants to try to use this in court, let them. Blizzard said this is okay. This isn't me saying this and making shit up because I'm mad. I'm reiterating an actual chat I had with the GM where the GM says Blizzard would not have a problem with people doing this. So it is perfectly 100% legitimate and legal, and there's nothing wrong with me telling people to do what Blizzard said is perfectly okay to do. Blizzard doesn't have a problem with you going in and doing that. Do it. I am telling people who've had a problem with the system to go into the game, make accounts, and actually do this to people. Maybe if enough fucking people do this, Blizzard will finally get the fucking message to their head. What are they going to do? You said to tell people to do this. Yeah, because you said it was perfectly fine to do. Plus, you want to target people with this system that you're saying it's not okay for me to tell people to do, but it's okay for people to actually do it. It's fucking ridiculous. And so, what I also want to explain and tell people to do is open up tickets. Flood the queue system with tickets, because Blizzard says if you have a problem, use a ticket. If you have a problem with a ticket, open a ticket. They said to use it if you have a problem. Well, this is a problem. Whether you've been a victim in this or not, I encourage you. In fact, I am telling everybody to flood Blizzard's ticket system since they want these tickets. That brings me to the point on exactly what I'm doing. I have messaged Blizzard at least 25 times in the past day about the silence on the account that they upheld, despite I went out of my way to prove it was going to happen, to stop it ahead of time, and so they could go in and deal with it. It was refused, and then it was still upheld, despite there being nothing fucking wrong. Blizzard's like, we're not going to talk about this anymore. Well, I am. I'm going to keep messaging you, and I am going to keep talking about it. And I told Blizzard, this is going to end one of two ways. You're either going to release my account, undo the silence, and apologize, which probably won't happen, or you could go get a court order, because that's the only way you're going to stop me. I am going to continue flooding the queue system because of this silence. You ban the account, I'll make another one. Try to ban the IP, it won't work. And I'm kind of doing it one at a time right now. I already have like a bunch of email accounts. I already have a bunch of accounts that I'm going to continue doing this tomorrow. I am just going to keep tying them up and 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 tying them up until they get sick of it and fucking do something about it. I am basically forcing them to take legal action against me because I will retaliate with the federal issues and the shit system that's in the fucking game since nobody else wants to do anything about it. And there's plenty of evidence to go around. Now, even if this doesn't go anywhere in court, I can guarantee you, once all this evidence surfaces and all this shit is going on, Blizzard may not be held accountable, but the judge will actually say, what the fuck are you doing? Because nobody is this fucking stupid to know a system is being abused like this and then continue allowing it to happen and punishing people because you're allowing it. It's beyond fucked up. So, this is why I am telling people, flood Blizzard's ticket system because this system is a problem. Blizzard says, again, I want to reiterate, anywhere you go in Blizzard, it says if you have a problem, contact support with the ticket. And if your ticket is unresolved, or you feel it's unresolved, or you feel this problem still needs attention, to use the ticket system and open up continuation ticket of that one. You are literally, Blizzard tells you to use the system if there is a problem. The problem is when you do, you're threatened. So I'm sure the fucking court system would love to see this contradiction. But more so, this is about why the system is being used. Because they have a shitty system that's fucking with people, that's causing people to put these tickets in, and then Blizzard gets backlog with them. So, again, yeah, I am telling everybody that's ever had a fucking problem with this or thinks this is so fucked up to actually flood Blizzard's ticket system so they get so backlogged they will never get this fixed. And I will be glad to say, and I have no problems in court standing up and saying, I told them that because this is what had to happen to get this system under control, because they are punishing people that are paying them and then they're basically stealing from people. There's so many fucking things wrong with this and so many things that border along the line of illegal that they have me telling people to flood their system. But this isn't the same thing as somebody left an email address on the counter with a business card saying, hey, you know, if anybody's looking for business, do this. And then me coming on a video saying, hey, I don't like this fucking person. Why don't you flood their fucking email and crash it? It's not the same thing. This is literally me saying, this system's a fucking problem. And Blizzard has a system out there. And everybody, I'm not the only one to say this system is a problem. This system is a fucking problem. And it's been like this. How many people have gotten fucked over by this and had Blizzard steal money from them under these conditions? How many players have told other players, you can't use what you're paying for because Blizzard allows us to just because we can? I'm sure the court systems would fucking love to see the chats for this shit. On top of that, them upholding shit for no fucking reason. I'm sure they'd like to see the threats and everything else. I mean, this can go fucking one of two ways. This may not end well for me either. I mean, I could get fucked for this. But I don't think so. I have more evidence to support my reasoning. I may get yelled at. I may get a fucking fine for doing this. But the fine isn't costing Blizzard money. It's just tying up their system with a system that they allow. It's their system that's causing the problem. You can't blame a person you can't blame me for the system that they're allowing to do. I am telling everybody, flood Blizzard's ticket system with them. Teach these motherfuckers a lesson. They deserve to have it happen for what they've been doing to people since 2016. 2016 this shit has been going on. How many countless people have been fucked over by this system, had money stolen from them, and got victimized, cyber harassed, cyber stalked, and Blizzard knows this is going on and allows it anyway and doesn't give a rat's fucking ass. Now, here is the other thing that I want to bring to light. The message that you get from Blizzard's automated system in your email, it says, multiple people, this is where this gets interesting, multiple people have flagged your account because it's deemed inappropriate or whatever. We have silenced your account because multiple people complained. Here is the problem with that. In World of Warcraft, it's not the only MMO, but still World of Warcraft, there is something in the game called multi-boxing, or what's known as dual boxing. What that is one person has multiple accounts, all with different IP addresses or whatever. that are logged in at the same time, and one person is controlling all of those accounts. It's called multi-boxing. Blizzard condone this. Blizzard knows this is happening. So the point here is multiple people reporting you could be one person on 40 different accounts. And yes, there are people who play 40 accounts at the same time. So if one person is controlling 40 accounts, they can essentially report you 40 times and the system will ban you despite it being one person, and yet the email says multiple people have done this. There is no way to prove it's one person using multiple accounts, so for Blizzard to say multiple people did that is false. They can't prove it's multiple people, and they can't disprove it's not multiple people either. It's an unprovable thing that there is a generic message stating it is multiple people, despite there's no problem, there's no way to prove or disprove that. So, again, how fucked up is this? So, yes, I am telling people, if you have had a problem with this, or you've been had injustice done with this, or you want to get back at Blizzard, flood their ticket system with as many tickets as you fucking can so they can't do anything else and it's backlogged. Do not DDoS them. That's illegal. Using the ticket system is perfectly in line. They are saying to use the ticket system if you have a problem. I can't stress that enough. Furthermore, since they don't have a problem with silencing with 20 people, again, this is from a fucking GM. It's from a GM. And on top of that, future conversations I've had with other GMs, I have brought that chat up. So they're well aware that this was said to me. And so I am basically saying, yes, be detrimental to the game by destroying other people's games because they destroyed your game. Yes, this is a vigilante talk. I am telling people to use vigilante tactics on Blizzard's own system because Blizzard is allowing vigilante attacks on this system. Even though Blizzard will probably overturn the silence, they will ban the accounts associated with them, fine. But there's nothing illegal about what I'm saying to do. Saying to do it is not even against the law. It's perfectly legal for me to say this. I can say without reservation that everybody should just, who's so fucking sick of the system, should just fucking silence everybody in the... I'm not talking 1 or 2 zones. I'm talking to bring up everybody's fucking name in the zone the way I said it, which is you press enter in the chat. Whether you're silenced or not, you can still type /who, bring up the list of zone, eradicate the coordinates at the bottom, and click refresh and see every single person in the entire realm, no matter what zone they're in, and show it. You can then use that list to report people because you have their name. Now you have access to the way to report them. And since the system is automated, we know it only takes between, up to 39 people max. If that. It's probably not even 39. It's probably something low. But that doesn't matter. 39 is all it takes. So we can use that number. So we don't know if it's just 39. It could be 15. It could be any number. I mean, who the fuck knows? But the fact is, it's a low number like that can have one person controlling multiple accounts go in and wreak havoc on the entire game as far as people's, ability to chat. Because people are sitting in chat looking for arguments. So, since Blizzard doesn't want to do anything about it, I'm telling people you need to take action against this by going in and doing it yourself. Do not let anybody use general chat. If they don't want to allow one person to use general chat, then don't allow anybody to use general chat, and then see where it goes from there. Blizzard will have overturned some of these, but the fact that you did it in the first place is enough to say, fuck you, you deserve it.